There was a long, wondering look, then a rapturous cry. "Margaret, Margaret, my own little girl!" And Mrs. Kendall was on her knees, with the child in a close embrace.
Ah, signori, certainly. And a story very strange and very terrible. It was much time ago, 100, 200 years, I do not know. Well, the Duca di San Damiano married a lady so fair, so most beautiful, that she was called La Luna di Pesto. But she was of all the people, more, she was of the banditti.
It is an oblong sheet of glass, set in a frame of dark, highly varnished wood, carved in the worst taste of the Regency period, and relieved with faded gilt. Glancing at it from a distance, you would guess the thing a relic from some genteel drawing-room of Miss Austen's time. But go nearer, and look into the glass itself.
Your voice, sir, must have hypnotized me to sleep. He crossed the room with great vigor. Where's Early, by the by? He asked casually, hesitating, almost searching for the name. And a shadow, as if of a vanished memory, crossed his face and was gone.
He sniffed beneath it, smelling vigorously, with his coat bristling and his tail stiff, while he growled angrily. Kunsi, who was terrified, jumped up, and holding his chair by one leg, he cried, "Don't come in, or I shall kill you."
It was a singularly sharp night, and clear as the heart of a diamond. Clear nights have a trick of being keen. In darkness you may be cold and not know it. When you see, you suffer. This night was bright enough to bite like a serpent.
This was what gave plausibility to the whispers, that Mr. Hooper's conscience tortured him for some great crime too horrible to be entirely concealed, or otherwise than so obscurely intimated. Thus from beneath the black veil there rolled a cloud into the sunshine.
There, that's it. Shovel them in, notes and all. Ready, what luck, stop, another Napoleon on the floor. Ah, sacre petit polisson de Napoleon. Have I found thee at last?
And all at once the shape appeared and came on towards me, gradually. I opened my parchment scroll and read aloud the command. She paused, and seemed to waver in doubt, stood still, and then I rehearsed a sentence, sounding out every syllable like a chant. "I saw something," he said, "and yet I do not know, but it may have been one of the shadows. It looked like a great worm with a silver crown upon his head."
When we were children, there was no need to know who the king in the fairy story was. It didn't matter whether he was called Shiladitya or Shaliban, whether he lived at Kashi or Kanauj. The thing that made a 7-year-old boy's heart go thump-thump with delight was this one sovereign truth, this reality of all realities. Once there was a king. It was like the swaying and shaking and rustling and soughing in a summer gale of a million leaves and branches in the depth of the primeval forest.
Sibyls of months, and worshipper of winds, I love thee, rude and boisterous as thou art, and scraps of joy my wandering ever finds. In Siberia's wastes, the ice wind's breath wounded like the toothed steel. Lost Siberia doth reveal only blight and death.
But I'm very glad. Fancy a motor car coming into the garden. It will be such a treat.
More than man he is. Here he is caught by a demon like me, yet he will not fear a bit. Since I have ravaged this road, I never saw such a man. Now, why is it that he does not fear? He was powerless to eat the man, but asked him.
While we were walking over the city, we did not see anybody that we knew, and not a soul gave us a scrap of anything to eat, till we were passing the cemetery. But there some people called to us and put in our hands some chapatis and kulchas.
The young people from the East, with their commonplace love affairs, figure in one plot, which crosses the fortunes and misfortunes of Colonel Sellers and his family, as belonging to his nature and being, as it were, part of him. Example,
the power of God, the eyes of God. 67. 2. As such his dominion, and depending upon his pleasure. Thus the heavens are called the heavens of the Lord,
the ectoderm or outer skin layer. Hence we find the same typical structure in all varieties of the central nervous organ, a combination of ganglionic cells or psychic cells, the real active elementary organs of the soul, and of nerve fibers, which affect the connection and transmission of the action. At the upper and lower limits, there is a motive for shipping gold as a commodity. If each transaction were independent of all others, the cost of exchange would be the weight of metal called for, plus grains enough more to pay for loss of interest, cost of freight, risk, and trouble. To the Mormons, the Logan Temple is a grand Masonic fabric, reared unto the name of the God of Israel, where endowments are given, and ordinances administered, and services performed which concern salvation and exaltation. If the torpedo is torpid as well as the cause of torpidity in others, then indeed I am a torpedo, but not otherwise, for I perplex others, not because I am clear, but because I am utterly perplexed myself. The person carrying it had climbed up on a heap of rubbish from the buildings in process of demolition. Another who stood beside him held her bleeding heart. Clary heard Danjou expostulating the crowd in words like these: Antoinette's head does not belong to you. Every dream may be a wish fulfillment, but there must be other forms of abnormal wish fulfillment as well as dreams. And in fact, the theory of all psychoneurotic systems culminates in the one proposition that they, too, must be conceived as wish fulfillments of the unconscious.
Presently, when 3 milestones had loitered past, he overtook a boy who was stooping to light a cigarette. He wore no overcoat, and looked unspeakably fragile against the snow. "Are you on the road, governor?" asked the boy huskily as he passed. "I think I am," the tramp said. "Oh, then I'll come a bit of the way with you, if you don't walk too fast."